BXB. It's in the game!
Hey, it's my first preview of the year, and it's not a point and click game, so 2017 is already off to a pretty decent start. Now, this is a game called Hive, and as a bit of fun for myself, I went into this game absolutely blind. Ben sent me the download key, and I just installed it and I fired it up. I didn't Google for screenshots, I didn't look at the Steam store page, I just dived right in. Because I mean, who knows? Who knows what awaits me in this mysterious package? Let's find out together, shall we? Ah, right, it's one of these. I was sort of hoping for something unusual and intriguing, and instead I got this sort of Contra-ish, sort of Turrican-ish platform shooter thing. That's not quite what I was hoping for from this experiment, to be honest. This is really one of those games where you basically understand it immediately, isn't it? I mean, you run around, you blast these blobby alien things, you dodge the level hazards, you jump over the gaps. It's classic old school kind of gameplay. But that's okay, because I kind of like classic old school gameplay, and this looks pretty decent. I like this chiptune soundtrack, it's meaty and retro and gets your head nodding along as you play. And I like these pixel art graphics too. They're quite nicely animated and there's a reasonable sense of heft to everything. Yeah, this is pretty okay. There's a bunch of unlockable weapons and secondary equipment here, and there's explosions that look pretty nice. There's not that much going on at the moment. The campaign mode is still to come, and this is an early access title. But you can play these arcade challenge levels and you can have a reasonably good time. So the game's hook, if you kind of want to call it that, is in this backpack mechanic you're seeing every time I die, which is a lot, I know. Human life is extremely disposable in this game, and every time you die your corpse releases this floating backpack thingy, and this floating backpack thingy is not disposable. It has a health bar, and if that health bar ever reaches 0, that's your game over point. So naturally you kind of want to keep this out of trouble, which is a problem because whatever just killed your human form is probably now knocking the hell out of the backpack too. So you have to kind of float it away, and you try and sort of hide while this timer counts down, and once the timer reaches 0, well, you're back in there, you respawn as a person, and you can head back to whatever previously murderized you and take your brutal revenge. This is a pretty cool system, and it lets the game be difficult without feeling overly punishing. It kills you a lot, but you get a lot of lives. Each death does cost the backpack a little bit of health, so eventually those deaths start to mount up. But if you're careful, you can try and keep the backpack out of trouble. You do get a lot of respawns in your pocket across an entire game. So overall, it's a reasonable take on a pretty well-worn formula, but it's got a nice respawn lives mechanic, so yeah, it's good stuff. There is one problem here, and to be honest, it's a pretty simple one. Do you see this bar on screen? This is your gun's overheat bar. Do I need to explain any further? Oh, gun overheat mechanics are just kind of crap, aren't they? I know why they get put into this sort of game. There is some logic to wanting to give the player a reason to not shoot sometimes. You know, you probably need to limit them in some way. Otherwise you just put an elastic band around the right trigger and ignore the game completely and just have auto-fire all the time. But I still don't think it helps the game to take my gun away from me from time to time. Just find a better way to persuade me to stop shooting. The enemies are perfectly capable of landing blows and killing me even if I had infinite ammo. The game occasionally stepping in to take my ability to shoot away from me is just annoying. Your game is about shooting things, so let me shoot things all the time. If that means beefing up the enemies, then do that. This just feels a bit forced. Anyway, that's the token bit of criticism for this preview out of the way, so what we're left with is that this game is kind of fine. It's certainly not spectacular yet, and it's also obviously pretty early in its development, but if this looks like the sort of thing that you enjoy, there's definitely worse versions of it out there. The only misgivings I really have is that it's hard to imagine how the developers will ever really lift this up beyond just decent. There's the backpack concept, and that's nice, but it's pretty orthodox in its approach. But you know, it's solid work, and certainly something I'll be keeping an eye on. I'm kind of interested to see how the campaign mode works out, so yeah, might be returning to this in the future.
BXB. It's in the game!